Let's rewind to the late 1990s in a quiet suburban neighborhood, the kind where kids ride bikes until the streetlights come on and neighbors wave over picket fences. Our guy, let's call him David, is a 35-year-old dad who's the heart of his little family. He's got two adorable kids, Emily, a shy 5-year-old who loves drawing with crayons, and Jake, a rambunctious 7-year-old obsessed with toy airplanes. David's married to Lisa, his high school sweetheart, and they've been together for 12 years. David's the kind of dad every kid dreams of. He works as a traveling salesman, often gone for days at a time, but he makes up for it in a big way. Every trip he brings home little gifts, a snow globe for Emily, a model plane for Jake, or a new cookbook for Lisa, who used to love baking. Their home is a cozy haven. The living room has a big, worn-in couch where the family piles on for movie nights, watching The Lion King for the 100th time. The kitchen table is always a mess of Emily's drawings and Jake's toys, and the walls are covered in family photos, smiling faces from birthdays, vacations, and holidays. David's not perfect. He's often exhausted from work, and he's not the best at picking up on emotional cues, but he loves his family fiercely. He'd do anything to see his kids smile. One of his favorite memories is taking Emily and Jake to the county fair last summer. Jake won a stuffed dinosaur at a ring toss game, and Emily got her face painted like a butterfly. David still has a photo of that day in his wallet, the kids beaming, Lisa laughing, him holding a giant stick of cotton candy. It's his reminder of why he works so hard. But lately, things with Lisa have been off. She's been distant for months, maybe even a year. She snaps at David over little things, like forgetting to take out the trash or coming home late from a trip. She stopped baking, stopped joining the kids for movie nights, and spends more time out with her friends than at home. David notices, but he chalks it up to stress. Maybe she just needs space, he thinks. He starts planning ways to reconnect. A family vacation, maybe to the beach, where they can rebuild sandcastles and make new memories. David's latest business trip is a big one, 3 days across the country to pitch to a major client. If he lands this deal, it'll mean a huge commission, enough to take that beach trip and maybe even start saving for the kids' college funds. He's nervous but hopeful. Before he leaves, he hugs Emily and Jake tight, promising, "I'll be back soon, okay? Be good for Mommy." He looks at Lisa, hoping for a smile, but she just nods and turns away. While he's gone, David calls home every night, leaving voicemails for the kids. "Hey, Emily, Daddy misses your hugs. Jake, I found a toy plane I think you'll love." But Lisa never picks up, and she doesn't call back. David tries not to worry. Maybe she's busy with the kids. He throws himself into the pitch, and on the last day, he nails it. The client signs, and David's over the moon. He catches the earliest flight home, dreaming of surprising his family with the good news. It's almost midnight when David pulls into the driveway. The house is dark, too dark. Maybe they're asleep, he thinks, grabbing his suitcase and heading to the door. He steps inside, flips the light switch, nothing. He tries another, still nothing. The light bulbs are gone. His stomach drops as he steps further in, and that's when he sees it. The house, his home, is empty. David stands frozen, his heart pounding so hard it feels like it'll burst. The living room, where the kids used to build pillow forts, is bare. No couch, no TV, no coffee table, not even the rug they'd bought together. He stumbles into the kitchen, his hands trembling. The table is gone, the fridge door hangs open, completely empty. Even the microwave is missing. The kids' artwork that used to cover the fridge, those little drawings Emily made for David, gone. He calls out, his voice cracking, "Emily? Jake? Lisa?" He runs upstairs, his legs barely holding him up. The kids' rooms are empty, no beds, no toys, no clothes. Emily's favorite stuffed bunny, the one she couldn't sleep without, is nowhere to be found. Jake's collection of toy planes, the ones they'd spent hours playing with, gone. David checks his own bedroom, hoping for something, anything, but his closet is stripped bare, except for one old shirt hanging there like a cruel joke. David's mind races. Did we get robbed? Where are my kids? He's about to call the police when he spots a piece of paper on the kitchen counter, lit by the moonlight streaming through the window. It's a note, written in Lisa's handwriting. He picks it up, his hands shaking so badly he can barely hold it, and reads, "I'm done. I've taken the kids. Don't try to find us. Bye-bye." The words hit him like a freight train. David sinks to the floor, the note falling from his hands, and he breaks. He cries harder than he ever has in his life. Gut-wrenching sobs that echo in the empty house. His entire world, his family, his home, his kids has been ripped away in the 3 days he was gone. And the light bulbs? Lisa took every single one, down to the last bulb, just to make sure he'd be left in the dark, alone, with nothing. It's the ultimate betrayal, a final twist of the knife to make sure he feels every ounce of her resentment. David sits there on the cold floor for hours, the darkness around him matching the darkness in his heart. He replays their marriage in his mind, the good times, the bad times, everything in between. He remembers dancing with Lisa at their wedding, her smile lighting up the room. He remembers holding Emily for the first time, so tiny in his arms, and teaching Jake how to ride a bike, running alongside him as he laughed. But he also remembers the fights, the cold silences, the way Lisa's eyes stopped lighting up when he came home. He'd tried to fix things, tried to be a better husband, but it wasn't enough. And now she's taken everything that matters to him. As the first light of dawn creeps through the windows, something shifts in David. The hurt in his heart hardens into rage. He clenches his fists, his jaw tight, and mutters to himself, "She can leave me, but my kids? She doesn't get to take my kids." He wipes his tears, stands up, and makes a vow. He's going to fight. For his kids, for his dignity, for justice. Lisa may have thought she won, but David's about to show her she messed with the wrong dad. David doesn't waste a second. The next morning, he calls his best friend Mark, the guy who shared this story with us. Mark's voice shakes when he hears what happened. "She took everything? Even the light bulbs? That's insane, man. You've got to fight this." David knows he's right, but he's starting from nothing. Lisa cleaned out their joint bank account, leaving him with just the commission from his business trip. Mark helps David find a lawyer, a top-notch divorce attorney named Mr. Carter, known for taking on tough cases and winning. David meets with him that same day, still in the same clothes he wore on his flight, his eyes red from crying. Mr. Carter listens to the story, his expression growing darker with every detail. When David finishes, Mr. Carter leans back in his chair and says, "She's playing dirty, really dirty. But I've seen worse, and I've won worse. We're gonna fight for your kids, and we're gonna make her pay." Mr. Carter and David get to work immediately. They start digging into Lisa's actions, and what they uncover is shocking. While David was on his business trip, Lisa had been planning her exit for months. She'd rented a new apartment 2 towns over, hired movers to take every single thing from the house, even the kids' toys, and forged documents to make it look like David had abandoned the family. She'd told her friends that David was a deadbeat, that he was never around, that she had no choice but to leave. It was all a lie, a calculated plan to destroy him and take everything. The divorce proceedings are a war. Lisa's lawyer paints David as an absentee father, claiming he was always on the road and never there for the kids. Lisa takes the stand, crocodile tears streaming down her face, saying, "I had to leave for the kids' sake. He didn't care about us." David's heart breaks hearing her lies, but he doesn't back down. Mr. Carter brings in every piece of evidence they can find. Voicemails David left for the kids, receipts showing he paid for their school supplies, clothes, and doctor visits, even testimony from neighbors who saw how much he loved Emily and Jake. David takes the stand, his voice trembling but strong. "I worked those long hours for my family," he says, looking at the judge. "Every trip, every late night, it was so I could give my kids a good life. I called them every day I was away. I brought them gifts. I tucked them in when I was home. I loved them more than anything. She didn't just leave me, she stole them from me. All I want is my kids back."
A ruthless courtroom.
The courtroom is silent.
And a twist so satisfying.
Lisa sits there, her arms crossed, her face cold, but David notices a flicker of nervousness in her eyes. The judge takes her time, reviewing the evidence, asking questions, and calling for more testimony. Weeks go by, weeks of agony for David. He's living in his empty house, sleeping on a mattress he borrowed from Mark, working overtime to pay legal fees, and clinging to the hope that he'll see his kids again. He keeps their old photo from the county fair in his pocket, looking at it every night, whispering, "I'm coming for you, I promise." Finally, the day of the ruling arrives. The courtroom is packed. Neighbors, friends, even some of David's co-workers have shown up to support him. The judge enters, her face unreadable, and begins to speak. "This is a case of clear manipulation and deceit," she says, her voice firm. "The evidence shows that Mr. David has been a dedicated father, despite his demanding job. Ms. Lisa's actions were calculated and cruel, and this court will not reward that behavior." The judge awards full custody of Emily and Jake to David. Lisa is ordered to pay child support and cover the kids' health insurance. The judge looks at Lisa and says, "You don't get to destroy a family and walk away unscathed. You will face the consequences of your actions." David's eyes fill with tears as the reality hits him. He's won. His kids are coming home. The day Emily and Jake come home is the happiest of David's life. He's waiting at the front door of their house, still mostly empty, but he's managed to get a small table, a few chairs, and new beds for the kids. When the social worker pulls up with Emily and Jake, they leap out of the car, running straight into David's arms. "Daddy, Daddy!" they cry, their little faces streaked with tears. "We missed you so much." David hugs them tighter than he ever has, tears streaming down his face as he whispers, "I missed you too. I'm never letting you go again." The kids tell David what their life with Lisa was like. She dragged them to a tiny, run-down apartment 2 towns over, where they shared a single mattress on the floor. They weren't allowed to call David, and Lisa told them, "Daddy doesn't want us anymore." Emily clutches her stuffed bunny, the one David thought was gone, and says, "I hid it from Mommy so she wouldn't take it." Jake shows David a crumpled drawing he'd kept in his pocket, a picture of their family at the fair, with David holding their hands. "I knew you'd come get us," Jake says, his voice small but sure. David throws himself into rebuilding their lives. He uses his commission to buy new furniture, a cozy couch for movie nights, a kitchen table for Emily to draw on, and a shelf for Jake's toy planes. He takes time off work to be there for every moment, helping with homework, reading bedtime stories, and taking them to the park on weekends. The house slowly fills with laughter again, the walls once again covered in the kids' artwork and new family photos. David makes sure Emily and Jake never feel the kind of loss they did with Lisa. But what about Lisa? Her life unravels completely. She thought she'd start fresh, living off David's money, maybe even finding a new man to support her. But the court ruling hits her hard. She's stuck paying child support and the kids' health insurance, which eats up most of her income. She can barely afford her rent. She tries to reach out to Emily and Jake, calling and sending letters, but the kids want nothing to do with her. They've seen how she hurt their dad, and they've chosen him. Years later, when they're in their late 20s, they still call her Dad's ex-wife, not Mom. Lisa's betrayal backfired in the most poetic way. She thought she'd break David, but instead she lost everything that mattered: her kids, her stability, her reputation. Neighbors who once called her a friend now whisper about her, saying, "That's the woman who took the light bulbs." She's left alone, haunted by the family she threw away, while David and the kids build a new life filled with love and trust. David got the ultimate revenge, not through pettiness, but through resilience. He fought for his kids and won, proving that you can't destroy a good man and expect to walk away unscathed. Every time Emily and Jake call him Dad, every time they laugh together during a movie night, it's a reminder that he didn't just survive Lisa's betrayal. He thrived. He turned her cruelty into his greatest victory, and that's a revenge sweeter than anything she could have imagined. So, what did you think of David's revenge? Was it the ultimate payback for Lisa's betrayal, or should he have done more to make her pay? Drop your thoughts in the comments. I read every single one. And if you guessed how he got his revenge, let me know. We're shouting out the best predictions in our next video. If this story broke your heart and made you cheer, smash that like button, share it with your friends, and subscribe for more epic revenge tales. Let's get this video to 10,000 likes for David and his kids. Can we do it? Until then, stay strong, stay fierce, and I'll see you in the next one.